Chapter 6, Permission to Wrestle Well. So if you read the pages, you know that this chapter began with some warning flags, and it ended in beautiful permission. The warning flags that popped up that I began to really see and understand as God was using the sexual picture to help me understand the spiritual invitation to intimacy was that there were ways I was denying the Holy Spirit's advances. There were ways that God was drawing near to me, but I was turning over, rolling over, resisting his advances. I was either spiritually asleep. We talked about that apathy, that fatigue, the worldliness that owns our thoughts and our energy, and the fact that then we really don't put much effort towards engaging with God. Or I was diving under and hiding under the covers. I was fearful. I was ashamed. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to be seen or exposed. And I knew that in saying yes to God and engaging with Him, inevitably I was going to be intimately seen, the depths of my heart and the stretch marks and the strains and the pieces I really didn't want to be seen. But what was profound for me was that I learned in not denying his advances, but graciously and humbly drawing near to him as he draws near to me. Things didn't have to be pretty and perfect and performative and right all of the time. In stepping into greater intimacy with God, we're actually invited to wrestle well, to engage with Him in the full dynamic nature of our humanity. We talked about how we see this in Hannah's life, how we see this in David through the Psalms. Man, Hannah was praying so passionately with such intensity, the full breadth of her humanity just laid bare, her heart laid bare before the Lord, that Eli the priest thought she was drunk. When's the last time you've wrestled so hard with God in that hidden place that it might have confused the people around you? But the truth was that she wasn't going to hold anything back. She knew she could engage with the living God, and she did so in full passion and the full weight of her heart laid bare. We see it too in David in the Psalms, right? He lays out just about every emotion one could know, from lamentation and grief to joy and excitement to questions. But the unique thing about David's journey, as we studied, is that he always ends in praise. Even when he didn't have the full answer, even when the miracle hadn't occurred yet, he always ended in a posture of praise, knowing that God was good. He was a promise keeper, that the wrestling match would be worth it, and that also God wasn't knocked off his throne by David bringing the fullness of his heart and his humanity before the Lord. How have we missed this? We miss it, really. We disengage a lot because I don't think we know we have permission to be in process with the Lord, to come bare and vulnerable and messy. But man, when we see that His love is not changed or affected, that He doesn't walk out the door when He starts to see the reality of our heart, but rather His love delights in it, He draws all the nearer to us, it's a beautiful invitation. So I have a few questions for you. What do you think keeps you out of intimate engagement with God? Did the passage about apathy and being spiritually asleep resonate with you more? Or did the section about hiding under the covers and not wanting to be fully seen, preferring to keep things in the darkness, kind of strike a chord with you? What are the reasons that you stiff arm the Holy Spirit when He begins to draw near and point out things He wants to tend to in your heart? Question number 2. Did you know, or have you ever received the permission that your range of emotions are welcome before the Lord? That you don't have to come prettied and puffed up and all together, but He's not afraid of the fullness of who you are and what you're feeling. And question number 3, honest assessment here. How comfortable do you feel asking God hard questions? And how much do you trust that He will ultimately respond? There's a safety piece, a trust piece that's essential to engaging with the one that we love. When we feel safe, when we know and trust that the love there is sure, that no one's stepping up and walking out when they see the most raw places of us, it changes how frequently we desire to come together. So we've got chapter 7 ahead. This one was a big one to piece through, but I hope you'll ask yourself or your friend these questions and engage in some great conversation.